Thank you for coming back. Today, I'm going to talk about Legend by the Right Honourable Mr. Robert Nesta Marley. Welcome to what it would seem is now officially, at least for the time being, known as Rockin' Retro Record Reviews. I apologise to anybody with rotophobia for choosing that name, but it seemed to fit, and it was the only one that YouTube would let me pick at short notice. It's a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Is that the right word? Because I'm not really reviewing records, strictly speaking. I'm kind of just talking about them, talking about what it means to me, what the songs mean to me. Maybe it was an important record in my life. Maybe it's an important record in your life. Who knows? So, should we get started? Down to business. This album was released in 1984, which is a fair while ago now, right? Let's leave it at that. And if Bob was alive now, if you're watching this in February 2025, which is when I'm recording it, Bob would have been 80 years old this very week. In fact, I think it might even have been yesterday, which would have been the 6th of February. It would have been, wouldn't it? Quite a thing, eh? Because Bob wasn't around in terms of years for so long, was he? But it's pretty safe to say that he made some cracking records. And this one's a strange one because this is actually a compilation album, isn't it? But it's probably the best known of all Bob's albums. He made, 3, 4 albums? I'm not entirely sure. Things like Catch a Fire, Kaya, there were more. Other people will know all the records, okay? I don't. Because like most of us, I guess, I'm a bit of a casual Bob Marley fan. And I went out and bought this album when I was 14. Myself and a friend of mine had a trip into Manchester to buy it. And we both still got our original copies, which is quite cool, isn't it? But you can't argue with the quality of the music on here. Even though this is, strictly speaking, a compilation album, it contains, the best of Bob's hits that everybody of a certain age, like me, will know. Is This Love? No Woman, No Cry? Could You Be Loved? 3 Little Birds? Buffalo Soldier? Get Up, Stand Up, Stir It Up? That's just on side 1, yeah? Every single song on there is pure gold, isn't it? You could just listen to that side over and over again on repeat, and you'd never get tired of it. You'd never be disappointed. It wouldn't let you down, would it? But no, that's not enough, because then we get to side 2. One Love, I Shot the Sheriff, Waiting in Vain, Redemption Song, Satisfy My Soul, Exodus, and Jamming. Even without Bob's studio albums, that's some legacy, isn't it, yeah? That's something that we could all be rightly proud of if our music was that good, you know? It's great. When you open the album up, on the sleeve I should say, there's a bit of a chat in there, a bit of a kind of biography and a bit of a talk about Bob and about the records. And it's a long time since I read it. Maybe I should have read that before I decided to talk about the album. But I didn't, because one of the things about this channel that I've decided I'm going to do is everything's going to be a bit spur of the moment. I'm going to speak kind of from the heart about the things that I'm talking to you about. All these records that are back here are just the start of it. I'm not going to research things and overthink it. I'm not going to talk about analysing every track and what the guitar player did at 3 minutes 37 seconds and just which particular mics they use to amplify the drums. There are other people out there that will do that for you on YouTube. Not me. I want to talk about how these songs make me feel, what they've done for us. There's not a single song on there which doesn't make you feel pretty good about yourself. I'm just taking a look now through the list of musicians that are playing on this album for Bob, right? And it's fair to say that when Bob went out on tour, he didn't exactly travel light. There are many people involved in playing Bob's music for him, yeah? Just 1 or 2. And there's the, I think possibly the standout track on here is the live version of No Woman, No Cry. That's the one that I think everybody knows and everybody remembers, you know? If you're, again, of a certain age, like me. A friend of mine, when I was working in my first job, told me that he'd been to see Bob Marley and the Wailers at one of their gigs in London. And I think he was about 14, 15 at the time. So he went into, it may have been the Hammersmith, I don't know. So he walked in downstairs and you couldn't see the stage through this fog of ganja fumes and smoke everywhere. So you turned up and you couldn't see the band, but you could certainly hear them. He said every time the bass drum kicked or somebody hit the bass guitar, your eyeballs wobbled. It was so loud. Must have been quite an experience, eh? From what I've heard about Bob and what I've read about him, he seems like he was a pretty okay guy. Aside from the fact that he smoked a lot of weed, which probably chilled him out quite a bit, he seems to be the sort of guy who meant what he said, and if he did something, he gave it his all, you know? And nobody seems to have a bad word to say about a guy. Everybody in books and in reviews that you'll watch online or on the television just sings the guy's praises. And even if it wasn't for this, that's quite a legacy to leave behind you, isn't it? If all anybody ever said about you was that you were a great guy, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. I think Bob would be happy with that, very definitely. What do we think about reggae music? For me, as a working class white kid growing up in the 80s, it kind of passed me by a little bit. And that's a shame, isn't it? Because every time I hear it now or see somebody play it, it just makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It's brilliant, brilliant, powerful, passionate music. But I'm a bit of an amateur. I'm a bit of a tourist when it comes to reggae music. So if you're a fan out there and you know what I should be listening to, something I should check out that I could come on here and talk about with a fresh set of ears, let me know. Let's do that, okay? Let's find something you can educate me with and we'll get into it. So if you've got a copy of this record, Legend by Mr. Robert Nesta Marley, the Honourable Robert Nesta Marley, no less, let's have it right. What's your favourite track on this record? What's it going to be? Because there are so many to choose from. They're all hits. They're all great. For me, I think I'd have to go for Three Little Birds. And I appreciate that's probably playing it safe, but I love that song so much. And I play it when I'm out doing my one-man show. And it would seem that everybody else loves it as well. Doesn't matter where you play it in the show, what time of night, people sing along to that song and love it. So for that reason alone, I'd have to say Three Little Birds. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope I haven't bored you too much. If you're coming here for any kind of really in-depth information, I apologise. I haven't got it. And I kind of don't care. Just enjoy the record, listen to it. I'm sure you already own a copy of it. But if you do, go and buy another one. Take care, folks. I'll see you all soon. Stay safe. Cheerio. Don't forget, there's one other video on my channel you can watch. Back there, that album is Kings of the Wild Frontier by Adam and the Ants. And if you can't get to sleep tonight, don't worry. I've got the solution for you. Go back and find my video of this one here. Watch that. You'll be fast asleep before you know it.